What's going on? Welcome to the JAW Industries YouTube channel. This is another In the Garage. It's where I do something in the garage. Instead of driving or anything like that, it's about working on something. Right here, and what I'm working on is a 93 Honda CBR900RR. The challenge was to get the most bike for the cheapest price. So I figured $1,000 would be pretty inexpensive to see how much bike I could get for $1,000. So I found this. That's why I bought this. There was no specific, I'm gonna get a 93 Honda CBR900RR. It was just, this is what I found. The guy took the offer. He wanted more than $1,000, but I said $1,000 cash. He took it. It didn't run, but it was all there. So it was either that it had to run and it wasn't all there, or it was kind of rough, or it didn't run, but everything was there and it looked like I could just recondition it back into condition to run and ride and stuff like that. So this had everything there, had all the fairings, had everything, had a couple little weird things done with the fuel system, but ultimately I've reconditioned it back. Just to go over some of the things that I've done. Let's see here, I'll show you guys up close. Here, I've rebuilt the carburetors. There's 4 of them, so it kind of scares people away sometimes because you got 4 of them to rebuild. But I've rebuilt 4, taken them apart, cleaned them, new O-rings, everything. Dipped them, gotten all the old fuel off of them. All new fuel lines, new fuel filter, new fuel pump, new battery, new starter relay, and new fuel cut relay. I'm trying to go back to original because I think that's the easiest baseline to start with. I've got the auxiliary fuel tank hooked up here. Also cleaned up everything, cleaned off the motor and everything like that. New coolant, new oil, new filter, everything that I can recondition. You know, I'm trying to put, also the challenge is let's try to put as little money into this but get it back to a rideable state. So still I've got a little bit of ways to go. I've got the front end, front forks to rebuild, new tires, go through the brake system, new chain and stuff like that. But I figured the first step was to get it to run. So that is where we're at. I've also checked the valves, new head cover gasket, new spark plugs. Everything's been gone through to the point I think it's gonna run. Now, the test is, does it run? This is gonna be key here. I've tried turning the bike over, but that's it. I was just waiting on the fuel cut relay and stuff like that, so I've got that. Now I know all that's good. So this is the test. Does it run? Will it fire? Before, it didn't seem to get spark, so I thought maybe that was a fuel cut relay. If it's not the fuel cut relay, then it's probably the pulse generator or the ignition module. Hoping those are fine. So we're gonna give it a shot. Turn the fuel on there. I've got to get the key. It's a good thing I prepared for this. Not really. Let's see here. I got the key. All right, here we go. We've got power. Lights are nice and bright. The old battery, they weren't. We're on run. We've got a little bit of choke here. Got the fuel on. Let's see what happens. All right. I don't hear the fuel pump. The oil light has gone off, which is a good sign. Let's see here. Let's see if we've got spark. I'm guessing it's spark. Oh, there we go. No, we've got spark. Now we just need to get it some fuel. We need to get this baby some fuel. Let's see. Doesn't feel to me like the fuel pump is running. getting fuel? That's the question. It doesn't seem like the fuel pump is running. At least I don't feel it running. So that is the question. Why are we not getting fuel? I have it hooked up correctly. Something is keeping this thing from getting fuel. What could it be? I wonder if we are getting fuel to these. All right, well, shit. I don't see any fuel coming out anywhere. Where is it going? That's the question. Where is the fuel going? It is hooked up correctly to the in port. This goes up here. I don't know if there's any fuel in that line. Let us see here. Because if we're not getting fuel past the fuel pump, well, we're not going to get any fuel to the carburetors. So let us see here. You gotta love when stuff like this happens, because it makes you look well, it doesn't make it look like you set this up. That's the key. See, I don't. I don't think the fuel pump is pumping. Because if it were pumping, we'd have fuel. We'd have fuel there in that line after the fuel pump line to the carburetors would have fuel in it. And we don't. Now the question is, let's see, do we have fuel in there? Is the pump pumping? If it's not pumping, why is it not pumping? I think what is keeping it from pumping? Something is keeping the fuel pump from energizing. I don't know what that is. That is the question of the day. The other question would be, if we feed it with gravity, will it run? This bike is weird. It's carbureted, but it has a fuel pump because the pickup out of the tank, the fuel valve, is lower than where the fuel needs to get to in the engine. So they've given it a small fuel pump, a cheap little thing, small little thing, to pump fuel to the carburetors. So the real question then becomes, is it pumping? If not, why is it not pumping? Why is it not getting a signal to pump fuel? And that I do not know. So, I'm going to stop the video here because I need to figure out why it's not getting fuel. All right, did some looking around, saw I had a blown fuse. Replaced the fuse, so we'll see. It has blown a fuse before when I was troubleshooting it before. So I don't know if it's blown a fuse because it's a short or because something is drawing, it's a 10 amp fuse, so if something's drawing more than 10 amps, it's gonna blow. So this we'll see. If I've got a new fuse, we'll see if that fixes the problem. If not, I gotta figure out why it's blown the fuse. So that'll be the next step. So we'll see. So it's some ignition. Fuel is on. Now let's see. There we go. Whew. Well, it's going to start. Let's see if we can give it some idle. There we go. All right, all right. So we're running. Let it warm up here. Burn some of all the oils and everything. We'll get it, see if we can get it up to temperature. A lot of smoke because, like I said, there's a lot of oils from working on it and stuff like that, so you sometimes have to let that burn off. If it keeps smoking, you might have a problem. But right now, we got a little bit of smoke coming out of the tailpipe too, which is so the smoke coming out of the tailpipe could be a little bit of being the choke on. Well, we'll see. We'll start it back up again. Raise the idle a little bit. As it starts to warm up, it might start to change and do different things, but that's the thing. You got to keep the process going. See why it's doing it. It's a process. It's not you don't rush these things. Now we got no choke on. Turn the idle up a little bit. We'll just let it. It is blowing a lot of blue smoke, which probably not a good thing. But there you go. So with a little bit of work and some parts, you can get a bike to run. I haven't seen this bike run other than right now, so it's definitely a good sign. And now to take it a step further, has to take it a step further and get it rideable, figure out if the blue smoke is a problem or if it's something, you know, we can figure out. Still got to sync the cars. Whenever you have multiple carbs on an engine, you have to sync them so that they're drawing the same amount of air. And then you have to kind of make sure that the cylinders, so probably a compression test will have to be done because you've got to have good cylinder pressure to make sure that that works correctly. So you got to start with the engine. Make sure you have good cylinder pressure, match, and sync all these within a range together so they're all drawing the same amount of air. That will help with the fuel and keep it running like it, you know, efficiently. But it runs, so that's a huge sign. And it's a smooth idle, so I'm guessing that the blue smoke, it seems to have gone away. So it's not a heavy, oily smoke. So that's what we want. We want it to be an adjustment, not something that has to be repaired. So we'll hope for the adjustment. And yeah, I'll probably do a video as I get it rideable. I'll probably do another video after that. But there you go. You know, that's how you do it.